Sorry for the slurp. So it's Monday. Today's Monday, August 24th. We're going to write tomorrow's daily disagreements. And I'm still on this. I don't know if I'm going to ever get off this speech and opinion idea. Who gets to decide which opinions are acceptable? Yesterday, I said you're allowed to think something stupid, which sounds simple enough. Until somebody says, sure, but there have to be limits. Okay, maybe. But now we have a much harder question. Who gets to decide where those limits are? Because there is a massive difference between I think your opinion is wrong and you shouldn't be allowed to have that opinion. The first one is disagreement. Disagreement. The second one requires somebody, a human, to be in charge. Somebody has to decide which opinions are acceptable and which ones are not. So who gets that job? The smartest person or people? Fine. Who decides who the smartest people are? The most educated? Which education? The experts? Which experts? Careful with that one. You might get the science. And then they may forget everything. Sorry, too soon. Experts disagree with each other constantly. Unless you are the science. Sorry, I'll stop. The majority, that sounds pretty reasonable. The majority. Except majorities have been wrong about some fairly important things historically. A little bit. Maybe the government, I can't even say that without laughing, decides. Okay. Which government? The one you voted for? What happens when the people you didn't vote for win? We don't like that. Maybe universities like decide. This is hard to write. Or corporations, or newspapers, or social media companies, or your employer, or whatever group happens to have the most cultural power at the moment. Every answer creates the same problem, the exact same problem. Sorry, I'm a slurper. Somebody gets to have an opinion about which opinions everybody else is allowed to have. And for some reason, their opinion gets elevated above everybody else's. That is where I get stuck. And that's where I switch over to voice to text. My fingers are hurting. Because the person deciding which opinions are wrong is also capable of being wrong. Of course they are. They're a person. The expert can be wrong. The professor can be wrong. The journalist, the politician, the majority can be wrong. You can be wrong. I can be wrong. Nobody graduates from being human. So if the whole reason we need an authority is because human beings sometimes believe stupid things, it seems strange to solve that problem by picking some human beings and saying your beliefs about everybody else's beliefs will now be the official ones. This doesn't make sense to me. Like, we haven't eliminated opinion. We've just created a hierarchy of opinions. And maybe that feels fine when the people at the top agree with you. That makes sense. That's the easy version. The harder question, I really can't type right now, is whether you still like the system when they don't. The harder question is whether you still like the system when they don't. Because power changes hands, always. The group deciding what is unacceptable today may not be the group deciding tomorrow. And I mean, let's just follow history. It won't be eventually. So if the rule is Whoever currently has enough power gets to decide which opinions are beyond the line, then I don't think we created a principle. We created a weapon. We created a weapon. And everybody just takes turns holding it, right? I think there is a much simpler system. You think my opinion is stupid? Tell me. You think I'm ignorant? Tell me what I don't know. You think my facts are wrong? Bring better facts. You think my reasoning falls apart? Break it. I said that before. Stop similarly. I mean, if you think what I believe is immoral, then make that argument. You are completely free to oppose what I think. Of course. What I don't understand is why opposing my opinion requires controlling whether I'm allowed to have it. Those are different things. One says, I think you're wrong. And the other says, my judgment that you're wrong gives me authority over what you're permitted to believe. Not even say, believe. Because how do I know you believe it? That is a very large jump, you know? And we make it surprisingly casually, especially when we're convinced we're right. I mean, which more and more today we all are, including me. But everybody who has ever been completely wrong about something was convinced of something too. That's the uncomfortable part. None of us knows which thing we currently believe that somebody 50 years from now will look back on and say, how in the hell did they believe that? Because it's coming. There probably is one, maybe several. Several. There has to be. And that's not an argument against believing anything. Because if you're allowed to decide that my opinion is unacceptable, I need to know why your opinion about my opinion gets special status. Like the why. Who approved you? And if somebody else approved you, who approved them? Eventually, you end up right back at the beginning. With a person having an opinion. So maybe the safest rule isn't that somebody gets to approve our opinions. Maybe nobody does. Maybe you get to be wrong. Maybe I get to be wrong. And you get to tell me. Maybe the answer to a bad opinion is another opinion, a better argument, better evidence, a challenge, a disagreement. Kind of my thing. Because the moment somebody gets the authority to decide which opinions are permitted, we're no longer asking whether an idea is right or wrong. We're asking something much more important. Who gets to speak?